What's going on, thought criminals? Welcome to Frontlines. I am your host, Drew Hernandez. A lot to get into tonight or whenever you're watching this broadcast. Like always, time is moving very quickly. The deep state, the global new world order, and the satanic Luciferians, not just in the WEF, not just with, the World Economic Forum and Davos and these organizations, these shadow out in the open governments that just want to control everyone through technology in any means necessary. But I mean, you've seen this for decades in Hollywood, in the movie industry, in the music industry. You would watch YouTube videos and people are like, that's a total conspiracy theory. When there's 666 there's Illuminati there, everything always with the one eye covered. And it's out in the open. The Luciferian devil worship that you see in Hollywood and all these music artists that talk about receiving some kind of different entity and they turn into a different person whenever they're performing or they're writing lyrics, or it just comes out of them like it's nothing and it's successful and they're rich and famous forever. None of this is a conspiracy. I mean, come on, especially in the age of social media, we can all see it out in the open. I'm going to show you some of that stuff. And also, I'll tell you, these elites are doubling down. I mean, yes, we get W's, we expose their plans, we expose their agendas, but you got to understand the way that evil operates. They never give up, they never sleep, and they double down and they retaliate even harder, 10, 100,000 times harder than they were before. That's where we're at. I'm going to show you guys just exactly what that looks like. My name is Drew Hernandez, and you are now on the front lines. All right, this should come to no surprise. Madonna mocks Jesus Christ's Last Supper in Vanity Fair photo shoot. The pop star, Madonna, has launched an attention-grabbing photo montage in Vanity Fair Italia, posing variously as the Virgin Mary and Jesus Christ and featuring dolls apparently representing dead babies. The 64-year-old diva poses as the Mother of Sorrows for the cover photo, which depicts her heart pierced by 7 swords, traditional iconography for the 7 sorrows of Mary. Now, I think we have some of these pictures. There's one that's very interesting. There's this one. Obviously, it's very satanic and Luciferian, antichrist, in the position of Christ, mocking the Last Supper, mocking communion, the bread and the wine, which Jesus instituted. But what's interesting is you look at the heifer on the right. Let's go back to that. Look at the heifer on the right, a very obnoxiously large woman mocking Jesus Christ. And then you look to the far left, no pun intended, there's a homosexual. Like I said, these people are not trans. And obviously their chest is out in the open because that's a mentally ill man claiming to be a woman, mocking God's design through this, I guess what you can call art, according to these people. So they take every opportunity that they can in the music industry. They take every opportunity that they can in Hollywood in order to mock someone that they claim doesn't exist. Now, it's no surprise, right? She's had her daddy issues. Madonna's had her religious issues. I mean, she kind of made a career out of the whole thing. So, I mean, for young people, they're seeing this and like, wow, yeah, the Luciferianism is out in the open, but this is nothing new in Hollywood. It's nothing new with Madonna. She's obviously still struggling spiritually. But what I will say about this is, okay, and we got to keep it biblically based. There is a huge, huge warning in the Bible for those that approach the communion elements in an unworthy, disrespectful way. Okay? The Apostle Paul made it very clear. Some of you are taking communion in a very unworthy and disrespectful way. It's making you guys sick, you're getting judged, and you definitely are not pleasing God. There's something there in the Bible where when you approach these elements that Christ has instituted, Last Supper made it very clear that this is what Christ wants of his disciples. That's what you're seeing right there. It's a total blasphemy in the eyes, in the nostrils, in the face of God. Right? The crucifixion, the blood, and the body of Christ that he gave for humanity. I mean, now the blasphemy is nothing, it's nothing, it's expected, right? It's expected from the world, it's expected from people that hate Christ, but people that may be on the fence, like always, people that might are like, I don't know if God is real, I don't know if Jesus, like what is this whole religious thing? I always just gotta always pose this question, is none of this, okay? None of this is possible if they're in opposition towards some kind of mythological figure. I mean, obviously, that's some kind of mental illness. You have an issue with someone that doesn't exist. You have an issue that you claim doesn't historically exist. You have an issue that with someone that you just openly believe is not real. So you got to ask yourself this question. And I always tell people this, especially young people, all right? And I'm not trying to sound like the old guy trying to speak down to the young. What I'm saying is just like ask yourself a basic fundamental question. And that question is it possible that these Hollywood elites, okay, in the music industry, all these people that everyone worships and looks up to, right, that aren't aware of what's going on, is it possible that they know that all of this stuff is real? Is it possible that these people in the music industry, the mainstream media, in the movie industry, these people that are willfully, openly worshiping Lucifer and Satan and blaspheming Christ in the process, is it possible that they're not atheists because they're fully aware that there are evil entities out there that they're interfacing with that are giving them everything they could possibly dream of or want? I'll tell you one thing. The answer to that question is absolutely yes, because these people are fully aware that there is evil in the world, that the devil exists, and he gives them what they want. So if that's real, then the big guy, the most powerful ever, the Lord of Lords, has to be real too. And people got to ask themselves these questions, because when you see this in the media, it is out in the open. I mean, especially, I tell people this all the time. When you go to protests, you go to these riots, you see manifestations. All right, I played you guys this clip when we had our historical coverage of the Roe v. Wade overturn in D.C. You guys saw when I was on the ground facing this guy, all weird body, like following me around when I'm reporting, because anytime I would mention the word baby or life, what do you mean? What do you mean babies? What do you mean they should live? You guys remember that clip? Guy was in my face, disgusting breath, total voice change, abnormal behavior, and I asked this individual, which I believe was demon-possessed, I said, "You love killing babies, don't you, sir?" What was his response, which I believe was a demon in this individual? "Yes, I effing love killing babies. I effing love killing babies." Viral clip all over the world. Why? Because demons are real, the devil exists, God is more powerful, and you're literally engaging in a spiritual war every single day of your life, whether you believe it or not. You literally are. Like you're in this cosmic battle between God and the devil and demons, fallen angels, and real angels of the Lord of heaven's army, which is Jesus Christ himself. Like you're in the middle of this. We're all in the middle of this. Like whether you believe in it or not, this is taking place. You're in a multi-dimensional world and universe that you live in. Okay, the Bible makes it very clear. Ephesians chapter 6, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers, principalities, spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. Multi-dimensional. You can't see it. This is why a lot of people, when they start, messing with Ouija boards, they start messing with the occult, they start dabbling into Satanism, they get possessed, and then they wake up real quick to the reality that there are evil entities out there, or they get oppressed, and then they can't shake these evil demonic entities. It ruins, oppresses, and in some cases possesses their entire lives. Like this is real stuff, ladies and gentlemen. The spiritual war is absolutely a reality, whether you believe in it or not. Now, the reason why I say that is because every now and then, especially when you go to anything that is pro-life or pro-killing babies, whenever you get around the pro-killing baby crowd, you do see some manifestations, man. And obviously, the March for Life took place a few days ago. And this is all spiritual, man. Here's this counter-protester saying, "Praise Jesus for abortions." A pro-abortion baby killer activist screams at people, I'm assuming Christians, praying at March for Life. Take a look for yourself.
Praise Jesus for abortion! Praise only fake white Jesus for abortion! Praise Jesus for abortion! Praise Jesus for abortion! No, abortion's praise Jesus for abortion! Praise Jesus for abortion! Praise your fake fucking Jesus for abortion! Praise your fake white Jesus for abortion!
Jesus Christ, his only son, our
Pray for your abortion! Praise Jesus Christ! Praise Jesus Christ for your abortion!
It's interesting because when you read the Old Testament, or particularly the New Testament, and, you see like demonic manifestations, possessions, demons screeching at Christ when he's walking around Galilee, walking around Israel, doing his ministry, you see a lot of screeching, blaspheming the Son of God, blaspheming Jesus Christ. It's always the spiritual world bleeds through. Because the reality is that demons know that Christ is Messiah, and he's the commander in chief. So whenever they're around Christ, they freak the hell out because they know they're going to hell. They know they're going to the lake of fire, and the devil knows that his time is very limited. So when you see this kind of stuff, you guys, it's not just radical activists that want to blaspheme Jesus, and they're obviously uneducated. Jesus Christ was not a white guy. He's a Jew, man. He's from the Middle East. But, these people are stupid, and they don't even know their history. They claim, that's a bunch of myths. It's mythological. Well, can you at least get the myth right, you freaking loser? They can't even get it right because they're ignorant. They don't know what they're talking about, right? We all know the truth, but this whole anti-human agenda is literally Luciferian. Here's a story from the Post-Millennial. Decapitate TERFs. Okay, these TERFs are basically just women that love women. They're just feminists that want to see women succeed. Some are radical and insane, but some are just hey, we just love women. And biological women, and that don't like mentally ill men claiming to be women. They call them TERFs. Woke Scottish politicians endorse violence against women at far-left protest. On Saturday, a group of Scottish politicians posed with trans activists who were displaying signs calling for violence, including the decapitation of women during a protest in the UK. And there it is, right? Because these homosexuals, they're not trans. They're just dudes that are gay, all right? They hate women, right? Maybe something happened to them when they were young. Maybe they got mommy issues. Maybe they got to take it up with God. I don't know. Maybe they were abused. I don't know. But it's clear that these dudes decapitate women. Oh, yeah, that's definitely good for women. Sounds very ISIS, doesn't it? Sounds very, jihad, doesn't it? But these are the homosexuals claiming to be women that want to chop females' heads off because biological women are coming out and saying, only biological women are women. That's the reality that God has built for the universe that we live in right now. Well, speaking of the woke-tards, here's a woke intersectional climate scientist blaming not being able to fix climate change on white people, and she compares her climate change obstacles to Harry Potter mythical creatures.
My name is Dr. Chandler Purity. I am a climate scientist. Imagine that this is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and we have the three-headed dog over a trapdoor. Picture it. There's a room with a three-headed dog standing over a trapdoor, okay? Now, I'm telling you that the key to ending climate change, our Sorcerer's Stone, if you will, right, is under the trapdoor, okay? So we need to figure out how to get past the dog and under the trapdoor, okay? Now, the three-headed dog, one of the heads of the dog is capitalism. One of the heads of the dog is colonialism. One of the heads of the dog is white supremacy. Capitalism cannot exist without the exploitation of land and labor. Colonialism created almost every single invasive species issue that we have now. White supremacy, the idea of most of our modern environmental efforts, all of those ideas were linked with white supremacy. Now, the fart of this dog is CO2, okay, carbon dioxide.
Well, according to Harry Potter Wiki, the three-headed dog is named Cerberus, and it's a mythological creature that doesn't exist. Sounds kind of similar to what the far left tries to push on everyone, doesn't it? Just want to remind you guys, the team at Front Page Magazine has been unmasking totalitarians since the earliest days of the internet. Founded by David Horowitz, Front Page Magazine has spent 2 decades fighting the radical left's efforts to destroy America. Front Page's talented roster of authors will help you stay up to date with the latest trends in American conservatism. Their riveting political and cultural commentaries are the reason that Front Page magazine has been a mainstay in conservative circles for years. As you all know, it takes a village to fight the radical left's efforts to destroy America. That's why, as a fan of Frontlines, you should also check out these guys over at Front Page magazine by visiting frontpagemag.com. You can also support their cause by making a tax-deductible donation by going to frontpagemag.com today. Well, speaking of the totalitarians and the tyrants, Governor Gavin Newsom calls the Second Amendment a suicide pact while flanked by armed guards. Take a look at this.
I mean, the Second Amendment's becoming a suicide pact, it feels like. I mean, it's just, and that's the only question the community wants. How do you get, what about our kids when they're going to school? What more can we do? And, again, we look at that all the time. I mean, we did another half dozen gun safety bills last year. We'll continue to find whatever loopholes we can. We'll continue to lead the national conversation on gun safety reform. And the data bears out it works. It saves lives. California's 37% lower gun death rate with the rest of the nation. And yet, with all that evidence, no one on the other side seems to give a damn. They can't get anything done in Congress.
Oh, yeah, he's such a good person. Oh, God bless his heart. He cares so much about society because, because some other criminal decided to take a firearm illegally and hurt other innocent people, it's your fault. The law-abiding citizen, 2A-abiding gun owner, it's your fault. So you got to pay for that crime. You're the one that has to be punished because the dictator said so, that the Second Amendment is bad and the Second Amendment is literally a suicide pact, when in reality, firearms can do evil when in evil hands, because the firearm itself is not evil, but someone can use it for evil purposes. And also, you want to know something else very basic, Governor Gavin Newsom? A firearm can be used by a good guy to do something good and save a life too. But he expects you to be stupid and to not think that deeply as he's walking around with armed bodyguards, the elites. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how they are going to function. Well, speaking of the elites getting exposed, this President Biden classified document thing is just, it's out of control. Seems like the deep state is throwing this dude overboard. Seems like this is all strategically planned. Maybe they're gonna move him out, insert a new puppet. Who knows? Maybe that's the agenda. Maybe he's becoming too problematic. But I mean, you got to look at the shills, man. There are shills in the White House trying so hard to run cover, even now. Even when everyone's jumping off board, jumping off the ship, you still got guys that are trying to sit there and propagate, especially on this show, MSNBC. Special Assistant to President Joe Biden, Ian Sams, attempts to run cover for Joe Biden and paint him as a transparently cooperative with the DOJ over these classified document finds. And then he refuses to answer any questions about possible other classified documents that might be out there in the world.
The president and his lawyers offered up access, unprecedented access, I should add, to every single room of the president's personal home to ensure that any documents that need to be properly in possession of the government are taken and are in proper possession of the government. So from the very beginning, when the team first discovered materials, they've handled this the right way. They've handled it responsibly with the proper authorities, first with the National Archives, then with the Department of Justice. And that may be a contrast to what we've seen in the last few years, but this is a president who believes in the rule of law, a president who understands the importance of an independent Justice Department.
Yeah, right.
And so he's giving them access to the information they need to conduct a thorough review, and the DOJ at the end of this review will be able to present the full set of facts.
There are obvious possibilities here as to how in the world this could have happened. Are there any that you can share with us?
Well, again, I understand you're asking these questions, but we want to be very careful to respect the investigation of the DOJ. And look, they're going to ask these questions. They're going to be the ones to answer these questions and to provide information on it. And we want to make sure that we respect that process as it plays out. Look, there's going to be a tension here. We understand that there's going to be a tension here between the kinds of information and public disclosures that you all in the media want to be able to try to explain this to the American people.
Okay, Ian, are there any possibilities that that there are documents at other locations owned or used by President Biden in the past?
So the president's personal lawyers and DOJ are in communication, and they're making sure that they're coordinated on the next steps of this investigation. Look, we're going to be really careful not to talk about potential future steps and developments in the investigation itself, because we respect the independence of DOJ to conduct this thoroughly and fairly on their own accord. And so I'm just not going to get ahead of that process in questions like that.
Oh, we're so transparent. We're so transparent with the DOJ that we control. We're so transparent, not like past years, we've seen a total contrast. We're so transparent with the DOJ that we are all in bed with the deep state. We're totally open books. So open, you could trust us. You could trust us. We believe in law and order. Oh, give me a break. And then they ask him directly, well, is there anything else out there? Like, come on, this is getting ridiculous. I'm not going to answer any of those questions because we're so transparent, because the DOJ is going to handle it, America. You could definitely trust them. They definitely believe in law and order and getting the truth out there. Yeah, give me a break. Speaking about liars, here's Vice President Kamala Harris giving a speech on abortion and leaving out the right to life when quoting the Declaration of Independence.
A promise we made in the Declaration of Independence, that we are each endowed with the right to liberty and the pursuit of happiness.
I'm telling you, man, this is spiritual. That's you know, on one end, diversity hire, not very smart, low IQ. It's obvious, right? It's obvious, right? Spiritual aspect of things. Giving a speech about abortion. Oh, it should have been the anniversary of Roe v. Wade so we can just murder and kill babies because it's amazing and it's a woman's right to do so because my body, my choice. And if a female decides she wants to murder that baby in the womb, she should be able to. But what about my body, my choice when it comes to the forced vaccines? No, you shut up, peasant. You shut your mouth and you comply and capitulate because that's what we expect of you. Spiritual side of things. Given a speech about killing babies, leaves out the right to life, which is clear, abundantly clear in the Declaration of Independence, which obviously finds its origins from the Bible. God is life. Why is God pro-life? Because God is life. It's as simple as that. God has a very aggressive, if you watch the Bible from a theological perspective, God the Father, you watch how protective he is over children, particularly his children as well. And you could see that abundantly clear. As a father, that's a lion that takes a look at innocence and burns with righteous indignation and righteous judgment against people that want to murder babies, mutilate their genitals, and destroy their innocence. That is the fire that you see from heaven, not some limp-wristed Christianity or some limp-wristed pastor that walks around like, oh my God, I'm so afraid to lose my 501c3, so I'm not going to speak out against gay marriage. I'm not going to speak out against abortion because, oh, they're going to come after me. Coward. Coward, coward. Now is the moment, now is the hour where cowards will not be tolerated because life is on the line. God is with us. Who could be against us? My name is Drew Hernandez. These are the front